And it just hurts me that I have all my stuff together. I have all my stuff together to be able to live here in Ghana comfortably with the little pennies that I have coming. But America, my kids in America, my brother in America is killing me. And I really hate to come back. I really hate to come back.
Shalom, it's No Limit Eddie, back with another video. You saw the thumbnail, you also saw the title. Another African American has gone broke in Ghana. In today's video, I'm going to go ahead and react to a video from a channel called Build in Africa, I believe, or We Belong in Africa. I don't know, but I will leave his channel tagged in the title of today's video, and I'll leave the original video in the description of today's video as well. Now, why do I feel qualified to even speak on the situation? Well, my name is No Limit Eddie. I'm a 23-year-old American who lives abroad full time. I've been living in Africa since I was 21, and I'll be 24 here in a few months. I've happened to live in Africa for a while. I've sustained myself for longer than a lot of other people, and it's just because I have a few little tips and tricks that have helped me along, and I like to share them with other people. And so that's kind of why I make these types of videos, to hopefully help you from having to be in a similar situation as the guy in this video, all right? And also to help him out too. Maybe I can give him some gems that might inspire him to maybe make a couple of changes that might be beneficial, all right? So with that being said, let's go ahead and jump into today's video.
I really hate to be talking about what I'm about to talk about. And right now, what that is I'm facing probably having to leave Ghana. You know, before I even came here, I had all my ducks in a row. I watched a lot of YouTube videos of a lot of people coming to not just Ghana, but other African countries. They was coming and they was not prepared. So I told myself, I want to prepare myself. I don't want to, come and fail. My motto was always failure is not an option.
I made a few videos like this in the past. One of them was like Anna and Changbo. Another one was it was another one that I just made recently. But a lot of people go to Ghana and they do face hard times. They do face financial difficulties, and inside the comments of all those videos, there's so many black people, African American people. This is not going to happen to me because I'm going to be prepared. I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that. And they're so like big headed in the comment section. And I love the fact that this guy said like he was prepared. He did everything he could to be prepared. And so I've always tried to tell people in the comments, preparation is not enough. And I think they give like this I'm going to be prepared is a false sense of security, and I'll explain why. It's a false sense of security, and it gives you a feeling of superiority. But they always say if you want to make the Most High laugh, tell them your plans, right? And so most things will not go according to plan. And once you base your whole life, your whole existence on this is how it's going to work, I know it's going to work this way, and then it doesn't, and things don't turn out the way you thought it would, then you get frazzled, then you get misplaced, then you get lost, then you get discombobulated, and that ends up being what happens to most people who suppose they're going to be more prepared. And so like there's and this is not me saying that you don't need to prepare, but this is me saying there is something called a point of diminishing return. Okay, point of diminishing return. And so if you don't know what that is, let's say for example my body is deficient in zinc. I need zinc. Okay, so I take some zinc. Okay, I take a tablet of zinc. Okay, there's going to be a positive effect of that. I take 2 tablets of zinc. It's going to be a positive effect of that. Maybe even more than if I take just 1. If I go ahead and just take the whole bottle of zinc, all 100 capsules at one time, there's a point where my body would digest so much and then just dispel the rest of it, right? And so once it gets to the point where my body would just dispel the rest of it, that's when it has a diminishing return. So at some point it's like this, and then it's just like that. Right? And so there is an amount of preparedness that you need, but once you go beyond that, it just becomes a diminishing return, right? And so a lot of times what happens is like the preparedness, you can start doing so much that you're doing nothing at all. Let me say it again. You can become so prepared that you do nothing at all, right? I'm gonna do this first, and then this, and then this, and then this, and this, and then 3 years later, you're still preparing. right? And so times have changed. Money, the value of the money has changed. The price of the real estate has changed. So many things have changed in these 3 years that all your preparedness almost goes to naught, right? It goes to nothing, and you get that diminishing return effect of it. And so you can probably learn more just by doing than by preparing. But there is a certain amount of preparing that must occur. All right. And then the last point that I want to mention, I'm very big on the subconscious mind, very big on manifestation of thoughts. You know, as a man thinketh, so it is. I'm very big on that. His motto was failure is not an option. In that motto, failure is the key. Failure is a pivot point. Everything spins around the word failure. And so a better motto to have, this is just from my perspective, a better motto to have is I only win, right? That's a much better motto to have. And that's the model that I operate within. If you guys watch some of my older videos, you'll see some people in the comments, you're very arrogant. You know, you need to be humble. This can happen to anyone. Like a lot of people will read my comments saying that. And I think it's because a lot of people live in a state of humility that actually doesn't serve them, but hinders them, right? So I believe I always win. I only win. You know what I mean? I'm a money getting individual. You see me say this in a lot of past videos. You know what I mean? You know, I'm the greatest to ever live. I say these type of things, right? Not to be bombastic, because I truly believe these things, right? And these mindsets and these mentalities have served me quite well. And so those are the 2 points that I wanted to make with that clip. Let's get into the next one.
All right, so I did everything that I had to do to prepare myself to come here. You know, I built me a house. I started building me a house before I even came to Ghana. Because one, I was trying to knock myself out of rent. You know, I heard a lot of people coming here, you know, trying to build houses while they're renting off of a small income. And that makes it impossible to do. So I built me a house.
Before he made that move. And so he went ahead and he built himself a house. Now, we'll talk about this. He built the house because he didn't want to have to pay rent, okay? And so that was one of his methods. He wanted to build a house so that way he didn't have to continue to pay rent month after month after month. I know in Ghana, it's usually like, I think 6 or 12 months up front in rent. So that is usually a pretty big, like, if you come from America, you just pay a deposit. You know, you pay the first month's rent and then you move in. But in Ghana, I believe it is like 6 months, even up to a year up front of rent. So that is definitely a little bit of a mental shift that has to be made when you are buying renting properties over on the continent. And so I definitely understand what he's saying on that. Now, personally, I don't think building a house is the best way to go about it. I am much more of a fan of live where you rent, right? Rent what you own. So if I was to own a property, I wouldn't own the property and then live within it. I would own the property to then make that property cash flow, right? Versus owning a property to then live within it. And I think this comes back down to what we talk about a lot in this video, which I think a lot of people go wrong, is we operate on the wrong set of financial data. I'm going to get this house so that I can save on rent. So his objective was to save money, right? And I think this is where most people go wrong. And I have a saying on this channel, which I want other channels to take it, steal it, use it. You cannot save your way to Africa. You must earn your way to Africa, right? This is my core belief. This is my core tenet. You must earn your way to Africa. That means income, cash flow. Cash flow is king. And so when people come with the objective of saving, I've noticed they have problems in sustaining. Because you can only go to zero with savings. You can only go to zero. You cannot go beyond that. If you go less than that, that means you'll be in the negatives, right? And if you have negative expenses, what does that mean? Those expenses are paying you. So you can go infinitely up on the income side, but on the savings side, you can only go to zero. So why focus your time on that which has a finite return when you can be focusing on spending your time on that has an infinite return? Right? There's no limit to the amount of money you can make on a daily basis, a monthly basis, a weekly basis, right? And so, could there theoretically be a limit to because of the amount of money supply? Sure. But in reality, nobody's going to make $1 trillion in a single day, right? And so essentially you can go infinitely up on the income side, but you can only go to zero on the savings side. And so this is why I say you must earn your way to Africa, not save your way to Africa. if you guys want to know, the best way, the easiest way to begin to have capital coming in on a consistent basis for you online while you're wherever you are in the world, whether you're still in America, whether you're in Africa, whether you're in Europe, wherever you're at, if you want to know the best way to have a consistent stream of income, what you want to do is click the link in the description about nolimiteddy.com/opt-in. That will be the link in the description. I also have it on the page, on the screen, nolimiteddy.com/opt-in. Click on that link, go to that web page, and sign up to watch a video and book a call with me to figure out how we can help you create an online business in the next 6 weeks that will allow you to replace your job. Okay, so if you want to create an online business that can allow you to replace your job so you can make money from anywhere in the world, click the link in the description, sign up to watch a video, a training video, and then from there book in a time to speak with me personally, okay? With that being said, guys, I'll see you, well, me personally, if you're watching this now. If you're watching at some point in the future, it may not be me personally, but now, me personally, all right? Link in the description. See you guys in the next, not see you guys in the next one, but let's go ahead and get back into the video. So his intention was, I'm going to get this house so that I can save on rent, right? But what if he had taken all that money that he spent on buying land, on building a house, on labor, on all those things, and he invested that into ways of generating capital? He wouldn't be in the same situation that he's in now, right? The mentality must shift. And this is just for all you guys here. Most of the money advice that you're using, where did it really come from? Trace it back. Who benefits, right? They always say follow the money. Who benefits from most of the financial advice that you've been given? A penny saved is a penny earned. A house is your greatest investment. Save money for a rainy day. Who benefits from saving money? Is it you, or is it the institution in which you deposit your money for them to save? Right? And in reality, it's the institution. Because you saving money in the bank and that bank is paying you less than 1% interest, okay? Your money is being utterly destroyed by inflation, while the bank is taking your money, duplicating it through something called fractional reserve banking, making hundreds of thousands of dollars from that $1,000 that you've given them, and they give you basically nothing of it. Okay, banks benefit from that. Who benefits from you buying a house, your best investment? Banks benefit from that. They now have you locked into a 30-year mortgage, right? The government benefit from that. You now are obligated to pay this property tax every single year, right? So most of the things that you take as financial advice are not really for the benefit of you. They're for the benefit of institutions, okay? And this is why I don't really think the whole buying a house to live in it is a great play.
Add everything together. But what's killing me is my expenses in America. My American expenses is killing me. And what that is my phone bill. I have a phone bill through Xfinity. I have a brother that's in the penitentiary. He has 15 years. His calls is killing me because it's $1 a minute. His calls is killing me, all right? And I was trying to battle with that. Between my brother and his calls.
All right, now I can relate to this 100%. So when I was in Tanzania, I had a car which I just recently got about a year ago. Of course, I was a young black male. I think I got it when I was 20. So subprime interest rate, very high interest rate, high car note high car note, I would say, because the interest rate was so high. I had my car insurance, my mom's car insurance, and my mom's renter's insurance that I was paying, while I was in Tanzania, and those expenses. Then I had a bank account that was charging me fees every single month, and so those expenses were starting to eat away at my cash. They were what I call negative fees. They were fees that I got no direct benefit from. And of course, my plan with the car was to put it on Turo, have it renting out, and generating me capital, generating me cash flow. But because I wasn't there to manage it, because I wasn't there to actualize the work, and I had to rely on other people, the people that I thought I could rely on weren't the best people to rely on, and thus my car was just sitting there doing nothing, right? And so the plan didn't actualize itself. But I said, things don't always go to plan. So I ended up going ahead and getting rid of the car, and just making some changes, and things like that, which did help me out a lot because it was no longer a negative expense. It was no longer negative fees eating away at capital. All right, and I was able to deploy that capital that I was spending on those expenses to other areas which were more advantageous for me, right? And so I could definitely relate to him on that. Inside of my Ultimate African Relocation Guide as well, I have a play on the phone bill. So I have my same exact American number. I can make calls to the U.S. I can get texts from the U.S. I can do all of that. And I pay $0 per month for my phone bill. And in some months, I even get them to pay me. It's a major play. And it's one of the biggest benefits you get when you join when you get my Ultimate African Relocation Guide. Link is in the description. About how you can keep the same phone bill. Any country I go to, I can use my phone. I can call my bank. I can get text messages from my bank about my sign notification, payment processors, all of that. Same exact phone number. And I can send and receive calls. And I can also call internationally. So if I am in Egypt, I need to call somebody in Turkey, I can call a Turkish phone number. Right? If I'm in Egypt, I want to call somebody in Nigeria, I can call somebody in Nigeria. It's a major play, and everybody should have this phone service if you plan on living abroad. Like I said, even on some months, I get them to pay me for using that phone service. Major play, link is in the description, Ultimate African Relocation Guide. I try to put people onto this game, all right? I don't pay an American phone bill, but I still have my same exact American phone number that I've had for years and years and years, all right? I don't know about the penitentiary joint. Like, I don't know, the penitentiary joint, if the jail is the one that's charging you $1 per minute, or if it's your phone service charging $1 per minute. So I don't know if I can help you out on that portion, because I have never called somebody in the jail, so I can't say that. But if I call internationally, it's 20 cents per minute versus $1 per minute. So that should cut your phone bill by 4/5, right? So you're paying 1/5 of what you're paying now. So that should be a huge benefit for you on that play.
I have a storage facility. Before I moved to Ghana, I used to live in Michigan. Before Michigan, I lived in Texas. I was living in Texas, and I got a spur of the moment job offer to move to Michigan. When I did that, I put all my things in storage. I moved to Michigan, ended up staying there for 8 years. So I had some things in storage for 8 years. And it was okay, because when I was working.
Now he's talking about storage fees and different things like that. He had some stuff in storage for around 8 years, over in Texas while he was living in Michigan. And the interesting thing about this is, like, in my opinion, like, if you have something in storage for, 8 years, I don't feel like you actually need those items. Like, if you could live 8 years without them, you probably don't even need those items at all, right? Like, and here just have like some notes that I have, but like, if you never went to the storage and brought them to you in Michigan in those 8 years, if you never, went to the storage unit and took them out and use them or derive some benefit from them, I feel like you probably don't even need those items. In 8 years, things age quite a bit in 8 years. So that stuff is, the thing about 8 years ago, what was 8 years ago from where we are now? 20 something, 2016 probably, 2015. Stuff that was relevant in 2015 is not really even relevant in this day and age. It kind of comes down to, for you guys out there who are watching and thinking about getting a storage unit and things like that, it's like, if you're committed to making a move to the continent, why serve two masters? Why keep stuff in the States? Like, especially if it's housing goods and things like that, why keep those in the States to begin with? What objective are you going to serve? Are you going to be in Africa, or are you going to be in America? Right? By keeping things in storage in America, you're kind of, in a way, saying, okay, well, maybe I'll return to America one day, in my opinion. Not necessarily this guy in particular, but I know a lot of people do that, which is like, get rid of the stuff, you know what I mean? In my personal opinion.
Think about the expenses. I have to fly there, get my things out of storage, take them down to Texas, where I already have the storage. But to save myself money, I do have a small building in Huntsville, Texas, to where I'm going to take all the things from Michigan, put them in my building in Huntsville, Texas, go get the things that has been in storage for all of these years, and put those in my little building, so I can save myself storage fees.
All right, cool. So like, in the start of this clip, he said, thinking about expenses. Then after that, he said, so I can save on storage fees. All right. So it's like what I talked about in the beginning of this video. You attract what you think about the most. And so his mindset is always on saving. And so he's like, okay, I'm going to move. I have a building that I own, I guess, in Texas. I'm going to move everything into that building that I own. Now, the concept is, again, you can only go to zero when it comes to saving on expenses. You can go infinitely up on the income side. And so for me, this is why I say to people, like, really be mindful of the words that you speak. So why not focusing on income? If you telling me you had these things for 8 years and they were of no use for you, in those 8 years, they probably are going to be of no use for you, especially in Ghana. And so what was my brain, with the way that I think, I would say, okay, I'm going to go not to store these things again, so they're going to continue to take up space. I'm going to go ahead and try to flip these items. I'm going to go ahead and try to put these items up on Facebook Marketplace, put these items up on Craigslist, put it, go call up my friends, call up my family. Let's get these items sold. You know what I mean? Of course, for as much as you can, but even if you got to sell them for pennies on a dollar, take it. You know what I mean? And just get rid of all those items, and now you got cash in hand, which you can then use to finance, a plane ticket back. You can use to finance, whatever it is, or you can use to finance something in your life. You know what I mean? And so my thing is always, how can I make a play? How can I get some income off of the situation? And so I think one of the big mindsets that I'm trying to hammer home in this video is, do not be in the mindset of saving. Be in the mindset of income creation. How can I create income off of this? How can I create income off of this? If he has a building in Texas, how can he create income from that building? That he owns, how can he create income from that? If he has stuff in storage, how can he create income off of that? And that should be the mindset that you have, is what play can I make? What can I do to gain capital, right? I think that's super, super important, because he's talking about, in most of his videos, saving. How can I cut back? How can I reduce? But instead, how can I expand? How can I get more?
But oh my God, this little girl is in my pocket. She's in my pocket. So right now, I'm obligated to help her because I sent my 14-year-old daughter to live with her.
All right, now he mentioned that, like, he has 4 children. One of the children passed away, and as a result, he sent the daughter. I'm assuming he had custody. He would gain custody because he's the last living parent. But he went ahead and gave the custody of that child to. He didn't really say in the video, but I'm assuming he gave the custody of his daughter to her sister. So which would be another one of her daughters, and he's obligated, of course, to help his daughter, who gets to raise the next daughter, which I believe is a situation. But she's living in a place that's super expensive, and of course, it's just expensive overall to live in the United States. And so, to take care of a child and then another one of your children, you know what I mean? That can definitely become costly. And because I don't have children, you know what I mean? I can't really have too much of an opinion on this, but I did want to leave this part in the video. I did want to add this part into the video, because if you are watching this, you do have children, maybe that you're not with the mother of, maybe if you do have children that you're not are not with you in the States, that might play a part as well in your finances. That may play a part as well in your finances, and so I just will be mindful of that. Again, I can't say really too much because I don't really have experience in the situation, right?
It just hurts me that I have all my stuff together. I have all my stuff together to be able to live here in Ghana comfortably with the little pennies that I have coming. But America, my kids in America, my brother in America is killing me. And I really hate to come back. But I'm going to have to come back because they have taken the little savings that I had.
All right, so this is the last clip right here in the video. I just want to say this, man. That's how it usually is. Once you come to Africa, you lived in Africa for a while, you don't really want to go back to the States, because you just have a lot of times a higher quality of living while living on a continent. And so a lot of people end up having to go back, not because they want to, but because they have to, right? Usually for financial reasons. And I 100% understand the pain that he's going through, the pain that he's feeling, and when I make these videos, I make them to hopefully help other people and things of that nature. So I want to let you guys know, especially him. I'm going to tag him in the video so maybe he'll see it. You want to come to Africa, you cannot save your way to Africa, you must earn your way to Africa. That's my belief. Not only my belief, it's almost a fact at this point. Do your best to remove and eliminate all your expenses that you have in the States. You know what I mean? Do your best to eliminate all the expenses that you have in the States. And then never focus in on saving, always focus in on earning. That's a super, super big thing, is always focus in on earnings. When you mention his income in this video, if you watch the whole video, link in the description, he talks about my business is slow, but it still provides me enough to survive. It's a little income, it's enough. You don't want to live by those words. You don't want to justify mediocrity. Never justify mediocrity in yourself and in your business and in your life. Always go for expansion. There's so much income in this world, there's so much money in this world, that to just get by, to just survive, to just do okay is unacceptable. You know what I mean? For our caliber of people. I believe we're capable of doing just about anything. You know what I mean? And as long as we put our mind to it and believe in ourselves and speak life, right? Life and death are in the tongue. And so speak life over everything, then I don't believe there's anything that we cannot do. And so why not be expansive? Why settle with it's just enough versus it's abundant? Not only am I able to take care of myself and thrive here in Ghana, I'm able to take care of all four of my children. I'm able to, and not just take care of them somewhat, but fully, right? Or I'm able to put myself in a position to help people in this village or whatever it is. But like, why not expand? You know, nobody gets hurt by expansion. Nobody gets hurt by you doing well. More likely, especially if you believe you're a good person, people will benefit from that, right? The better I do, the better the people around me do, right? The higher my frequency is, the higher the frequency of everyone else around me is. And so I don't believe that contraction or being humble or being small, tucking in, you know, just taking the abuse from the world, getting punched and kicked. I don't believe that that is helping anyone, not even myself. Right? And so I believe that the bigger you become, the more expansive you are, the more income you have, the more people you reach, the more people you help, right? Money is in exchange of value, so people are giving you money in exchange for a product or a service. You're providing them value, which is good. By not creating goods and service. How do I say this? Okay, inflation is caused, especially in the world that we live in now, by more money chasing the same amounts of goods and services. And so we need to create more goods, more services, and that also helps to reduce inflation. But we need to create products. We need to create services. We need to create value in the world. And in exchange for that value, let's get capital in, right? That's my belief. So with that being said, hopefully you guys enjoyed today's video and that it gave you some insight, it gave you some information, it gave you some type of usefulness, you know, into your life. If it did, like today's video, subscribe to the channel, and drop a comment in the comment section below. Other than that, see you guys in the next one. Y'all willing? Shalom.